Corporate feedback rule number 1. Always start with a compliment so that they won't notice the emotional damage coming right after. Hi, and welcome back to Psychology in Business. I'm Victoria, psychologist, executive MBA, businesswoman with more than 12 years of leadership experience. And I empower business leaders to transform mindsets and behaviors to achieve their goals. Today's video is all about something very important, which we all experience but rarely master, and that is feedback. How to give it, how to receive it, and how to make it a powerful tool for growth, not for stress. Let's dive in. First, let's define it. Feedback is information we give or receive about a person's behavior, performance, or impact with the goal of empowering or reinforcing it. It can be verbal, written, and even non-verbal, for example. Very clear message, right? It happens every day, and this is very important. There are a few key types of feedback you should know. First is a positive feedback. Reinforces what's really good to encourage person repeat that action or approach or attitude, for example. Great job facilitating that meeting, you really encouraged the team. Next, constructive feedback, which highlights the areas to improve. Your presentation had great content, however, the timing was a bit rushed. Consider slowing down a bit for the next time. By the way, pay attention to not say the word but, because everything before but will be completely lost. Instead of but, you can use, for example, however, how I did it, or you can just make two separate sentences without anything in between. Your presentation had great content. Full stop. The timing felt a bit rushed. Consider slowing down for the next time. You feel this but or even however was not actually needed. You can just speak in two separate sentences. But kills the first part, always. You can use but only if you want to emphasize the part after it. For example, you haven't delivered the presentation, but it's okay. Tomorrow is also fine. So in this case, but underlines the very important part, that the mistake which was made or something which could be done better is not that important because there is a possibility to improve. In this case, yes. In the case when after but there is something negative, consider change it or remove it completely. The next one is evaluative feedback. For example, during the official performance review, when the performance of the employee is compared to the standard of that organization, or expectations which were set in advance. And final developmental feedback focuses on future growth and skills. To grow into a leadership role, consider mastering your conflict resolution skills. Now, why is feedback so important in business? Because feedback is a bridge between intention and perception. You might think you are being a supportive leader, however, your team feels micromanaged. Then you are missing the mark. Feedback is the only way to close the gap. Giving effective feedback builds trust, clarity, and performance. Receiving feedback well shows emotional maturity, growth mindset, and leadership potential. Let's talk about effective feedback principles, how to give it so it actually lands. Here are my top 5 rules. Number 1, be specific. This generic feedback, you have to be better, does not help. Say what exactly needs improvement. Focus on behavior, on action, and not on personality. You interrupted me 3 times is different from you are rude, right? Be timely. Give the feedback immediately and not on the next annual review. Make it 2 ways. Ask the person, how did you feel it went? Use the SBI model, situation, behavior, impact. For example, in today's meeting, situation, you interrupted John twice, behavior, and then the impact, so that John could not concentrate on what he wanted to present and in the end failed the whole presentation. In this situation, it's obvious what was wrong and what should be improved for the next time. And now about sandwich. It's a very well-known method, and it feels so fake when you do it in the awkward way. For example, you give a fake compliment. Oh, you look so great today. By the way, you failed the presentation. Have a great day. Never ever do it. So that number 6, instead of sandwich feedback, give the balanced feedback. So that there is not only bad, the timing was bad, you interrupted other people, didn't give possibility for someone else to talk, but there is also something good. You indeed prepared the content, you indeed focused on the numbers, you made a great presentations with good images and graphics and so on. The reports were clear and so on. Maybe something else in addition. However, there is still something to improve, so that for the next time and so on. So it should be balanced, but not fake compliment and then something bad and then again something positive in the end. We smell it, we don't like it. Now let's flip the script. How to receive feedback like a pro. First, listen without defensiveness. Even if it's hard to hear, assume positive intention. Ask clarifying questions, not argumentative ones. Take time to reflect, maybe even artificially count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 before giving the feedback, to calm down, to remove your emotions, and actually just to consolidate your thoughts to give a good constructive answer. And always say thank you, even if you don't agree. Feedback is a gift. If you completely disagree, you can say something like, I will consider. Depending on your facial expression, person will understand what you actually mean. And I repeat it again and again. It's super cool to have the journal to collect all the positive feedback and your achievements, so that in the moment when you don't feel great, you think, I'm a loser, I cannot achieve anything, whatever, everyone around me are super successful or cool and I'm still not there. You can open that journal and see how actually great you are. It is actually very helpful. And don't forget about your body language. Once I had a real situation when we were on the meeting with a client in a technical company, and my colleague was given a feedback on the technical solution of the client, which was, let's say, not the best. But the feedback was given in this way, like a very closed pose and confronting, like sitting on the kind of talking from the shoulder, And I saw this, and somehow conversation already turned into not super nice direction. And then I texted him. We were with open laptops, and I couldn't talk to him, but I texted him on the laptop, open your arms, And he noticed the message and did it immediately. So I gave the feedback, very direct, very fast, immediate feedback, like open the pose, change your non-verbal communication. And then from that moment, he basically told the same thing and explained in the same way, but already in the open position, that we have to change this and that. And the conversation absolutely changed the direction into the constructive discussion, and in the end it was very useful for both sides. So don't forget about the body language. Actually, non-verbal communication is 70% of the message you send. When I conduct corporate trainings on feedback mastery, I often hear the questions like, how do I give the feedback so that it doesn't feel awkward or artificial or too positive, like toxic positive? Or how do I receive feedback when it doesn't feel fair and you want to scream that it's not fair? Or how can I teach my boss, chef, manager to give me proper feedback because I need it and he or she doesn't give me anything? Yes, these are all real examples. So that on my trainings, I not only give theoretical information, mindset, emotional regulation, and the most important, the real life role play. And it's super interesting to hear from your colleague, who is now in the practical exercise, the feedback on your feedback. This is super cool. You say something and you think that the message reached in this way, but then the person gives you the feedback that he or she thinks in another way. This helps us grow and improve our formulations, our nonverbal communication, our intention, intensity, voice, emotions, everything. We can and should master the feedback. It's crucial for leadership and for the team in general. People and the whole company benefits from this. And if you want to have a corporate training or one-on-one sessions, just reach me out, by the link in the description. Now it's time for you to share your real life stories about the feedback you didn't want to receive or which was super motivational for you and changed your life. Be generous, share with others. It's super interesting for me to read. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with a colleague who might need a gentle nudge. See you in my next videos, and remember, feedback is fuel for success.